Success doesn't care if you're tired, sad, or broken. It only cares if you show up. The world doesn't reward emotions. It rewards execution. While you're busy feeling sorry for yourself, someone else is building an empire. Success has no sympathy. It's a battlefield, not a therapy session. You can cry, complain, or get up and conquer. The choice defines your destiny. Remember this, feelings fade, but discipline remains undefeated. The harsh truth is this, success doesn't care about your feelings. It doesn't care if you're tired, sad, anxious, or not in the mood. The world doesn't reward emotions, it rewards execution. Every man who has ever built an empire did it by mastering one skill, acting despite how he felt. Your feelings are temporary. Your results are permanent. The problem with weak men is that they allow emotions to become excuses. I don't feel like working today. I'm not motivated. I'm stressed. Those sentences are why most people stay average. You cannot build a life worth living by letting your emotions make your decisions. The world doesn't stop because you're emotional. Bills still come, competition still grinds, and the clock keeps ticking. Success belongs to the men who show up when they don't want to. That's the real test of character. Anyone can work when they feel good. That's easy. The difference between greatness and mediocrity lies in consistency when it hurts. Every time you choose action over emotion, you separate yourself from the herd. That's what makes a man powerful. That's what makes him unstoppable. Andrew Tate says discipline is the only form of freedom. And he's right. Because when you're ruled by feelings, you're a slave, not a master. You wake up and let your emotions dictate your life. You let laziness stop you, fear slow you, and doubt control you. But when you learn to silence that noise and move regardless, you take your power back. Success doesn't need your mood, it needs your movement. You can cry, scream, or bleed, but you must still execute. That's the mindset that separates men who win from those who wish. Think about it. The gym doesn't care about your motivation. The weights don't move because you feel inspired. They move because you show up and lift them. The market doesn't care about your stress. It only rewards results. The world doesn't ask, how are you feeling today? It asks, what did you produce? Every successful person you admire learned this truth early. Feelings are a trap. They're the invisible enemy that kills dreams softly. You don't conquer life by feeling ready, you conquer it by acting ready. Discipline is doing what must be done, especially when you don't feel like it. That's what makes it rare. Most people spend their lives chasing comfort, hoping success will come to them. But success isn't emotional, it's logical. It follows systems, effort, and time. The man who learns to act while others hesitate will always stay ahead. While others are busy feeling, he's busy winning. While others are explaining why they can't, he's proving that he can. Stop waiting to feel good. Stop expecting motivation to save you. Motivation fades, discipline stays. When you move despite your feelings, you send a message to the universe that you're serious, and life rewards those who are serious. The more you act without emotion, the more power you gain over yourself. And once you control yourself, no one can control you. That's real freedom. The truth is brutal. Nobody cares about your bad days. The world only sees outcomes. You're either a man who performs or a man who complains. You can be emotional or you can be successful, but you can't be both. So stop feeding your feelings and start feeding your future, because feelings are irrelevant and results are everything. Winners act, losers react. That's the line that divides men who build empires from men who make excuses. A winner doesn't wait for the perfect situation. He creates it. He doesn't react to life. He shapes it. Losers, on the other hand, live in reaction mode. They let emotions, people, and circumstances dictate their every move. One small problem hits them, and they collapse. But the man who wins knows control is power. He stays calm in chaos. He makes moves while others are still overthinking. That's what separates the successful from the forgotten. Most people live as slaves to their environment. They wake up when life tells them to, work when they're forced to, and stop when it gets difficult. They react to everything around them, their boss, the weather, their feelings, their fears. But winners don't wait for the world to give them direction. They act with purpose. They don't ask, what should I do? They decide, this is what I will do. That's why the world bends to their will. Life favors the man who acts first and thinks with clarity, not the man who reacts emotionally and freezes in doubt. Andrew Tate says, "The man who moves fast wins. Speed is power and hesitation is death." Winners move before they feel ready. They execute before the opportunity passes. They don't need permission. They don't need approval. They move because they trust themselves. Losers hesitate. They wait for motivation. They wait for validation. They wait for perfect timing. That's why they never start. They think too much and do too little. But action beats emotion every single time. When you act, you create momentum. When you react, you create chaos. Winners live in control because they decide how to respond, not how to feel. They understand that emotion clouds judgment and destroys focus. The man who reacts is like a leaf in the wind, blown around by everything that happens to him. But the man who acts is the storm itself, unstoppable, untouchable, and in command. The secret to power is discipline, not emotion. The disciplined man doesn't care how he feels. He moves anyway. He doesn't wait to be inspired. He knows that action creates inspiration. Every step he takes forward builds confidence. Every move reinforces control. That's why winners dominate, because they do what most men are too emotional to do. They control their thoughts before their thoughts control them. They make decisions quickly and stick to them, while the weak change direction every time their feelings change. Losers spend their lives reacting to failure instead of learning from it. Winners don't react to loss. They analyze it, adjust, and attack again. Every failure is fuel. Every obstacle is data. The loser cries about problems. The winner solves them. And while the loser is busy explaining why he couldn't, the winner is already moving on to the next victory. The truth is, the world doesn't care about your reasons, only your results. Winners act because they know time is the only real currency. Every moment spent reacting emotionally is a moment lost. If you can't control your emotions will control your life. The man who reacts stays trapped. The man who acts breaks free. So stop waiting for the right moment. Stop reacting to everything that doesn't go your way. Take control, move first, and stay consistent. Winners are remembered not because they felt powerful, but because they acted when others froze. Be the one who moves. Be the one who decides. Be the one who acts, not reacts, because in the end, only action wins. Your mind is your greatest weapon or your greatest enemy. If you don't learn to control it, it will control you. Every weakness, every fear, every excuse you've ever had started in your mind. The thoughts you allow become the life you live. Most men lose long before they even start, not because they're not capable, but because their mind convinces them to quit. That voice in your head that says, "You can't. You're tired. You're done." That's the enemy you must conquer daily. Andrew Tate once said, "Your mind must be stronger than your feelings." And that is the foundation of every powerful man. Your emotions are chaos. They change every second. One moment you feel unstoppable, the next you feel worthless. You can't build discipline on feelings. You build it on control. When your mind starts feeding you weakness, you must fight back with truth. You remind yourself why you started, what's at stake, and who you refuse to become. That's mental warfare. And only those who win that battle rule their lives. Weak men let their minds bully them. They overthink, they worry, they panic. They talk themselves out of opportunities. They convince themselves that they're not ready, not good enough, not capable. And because they believe those lies, they never move. The man who controls his mind doesn't listen to that noise. He rewrites it. He says, "I am in control. I decide how I think, how I feel, and what I do." That's real freedom. Mastering the voice inside your head. You can't stop thoughts from coming, but you can control which ones you feed. Most people feed doubt more than they feed discipline. They spend their energy on what could go wrong instead of what they can make right. The result? Paralysis, no action, no progress. But the man who dominates his mind understands that focus is everything. He doesn't waste mental energy on fear. He channels it into purpose. He uses stress as fuel, anger as power, and fear as a reminder that he's still alive and fighting. Control doesn't mean silence. It means command. It means when your brain screams, "Stop," you calmly say, "No." It means when you feel like quitting, you choose to keep going because you know your emotions are lying. Your mind is a tool. Use it, don't obey it. The moment you stop being a slave to your thoughts, you start building an unbreakable mindset. That's what separates warriors from the weak. The truth is, nobody can defeat a man who has control over himself. The world can throw chaos, betrayal, pain. But if your mind is calm and focused, you can turn every obstacle into an advantage. The undisciplined man breaks down in pressure. The controlled man thrives in it. He sees clearly when everyone else is blinded by emotion. That's why he wins, not because he's stronger, but because he's centered. Control your mind and you control your reality. The body follows the mind. The results follow the mindset. You can't build wealth, success, or dominance with a weak mind. You must reprogram it daily through discipline, repetition, and purpose. You must train it like a muscle until it obeys you completely. Because in the end, your mind will either serve you or destroy you. Every time you silence doubt, every time you act while afraid, every time you push through pain, you're teaching your mind who's in charge. That's the path to real strength. Control your mind before it controls you, because the man who masters himself becomes unstoppable. And the man who doesn't, he becomes a prisoner in his own head. Choose which one you'll be. Comfort destroys more potential than failure ever will. Every man dreams of greatness, but only a few have the discipline to step out of comfort and chase it relentlessly. Comfort is seductive. It whispers, "You've done enough. Take it easy. You deserve a break." And the moment you listen, your hunger dies, your edge fades. Comfort doesn't look like weakness. It looks like peace. It feels safe, but it's poison. It slowly kills your ambition without you even realizing it. Andrew Tate says, "A man who's comfortable will never be powerful." And he's right. Power doesn't grow in soft environments. Strength comes from discomfort, from struggle, from pain, from being tested every single day. Every powerful man you admire has gone through seasons of suffering that most people couldn't survive. The gym, the grind, the sleepless nights, the sacrifices, that's where greatness is born. You cannot evolve if you keep choosing what's easy. Comfort makes you forget who you are. It tricks you into thinking you're okay when you're actually stuck. It convinces you to slow down when you should be speeding up. The truth is simple: comfort breeds weakness. The men who chase comfort end up broke, depressed, and invisible. The men who chase growth through discomfort end up disciplined, respected, and unstoppable. The more you seek comfort, the further you move from success. The more you embrace discomfort, the closer you get to dominance. Think about it. Every time you've grown as a person, it was because you faced something uncomfortable. You went to the gym when you didn't want to. You spoke the truth when you were scared. You kept working when everyone else stopped. Those moments of pain shaped you. They taught you that your limits are just illusions. Every rep, every rejection, every sleepless night, they built the version of you that can handle anything. That's greatness. Weak men spend their lives avoiding discomfort. Strong men hunt it. They wake up early when it hurts. They train when they're tired. They work when others rest. They don't wait for motivation because they understand one truth: comfort is the enemy of evolution. Every time you feel comfortable, remind yourself something inside you is dying. Progress only happens when you step into the unknown, when you take risks, when you face resistance. The men who achieve greatness aren't born different. They just made a choice to live uncomfortably until comfort becomes irrelevant. They don't chase pleasure, they chase purpose. They understand that growth is not supposed to feel good. It's supposed to test you, to break you, to rebuild you stronger. The moment you get comfortable, you stop improving. And when you stop improving, you start losing. Comfort zones are invisible prisons. They make you believe you're safe while secretly stealing your time and potential. You think you're resting, but you're actually decaying. You think you're free, but you're trapped by fear of struggle. True freedom comes when you're no longer scared of pain, when you see it as fuel. You stop running from challenges and start running toward them. That's when you unlock power most people will never understand. So stop chasing comfort. Stop settling for average. Every time you feel too comfortable, do something that scares you. Lift heavier, work longer, speak bolder, fail faster. That's how warriors are built. Discomfort sharpens your mind, hardens your soul, and prepares you for war. The man who lives in comfort will never be remembered. The man who embraces discomfort will never be forgotten. You were not born to be comfortable. You were born to conquer. The world doesn't reward the soft. It rewards the ones who push beyond their limits and dominate their fears. Comfort may feel good now, but it will cost you everything later. Greatness demands suffering. And once you accept that truth, you become unstoppable. Pain is not your enemy. It's your mentor. It's the raw, unfiltered truth of life that separates weak men from strong men. Most people spend their entire lives running from pain, avoiding failure, hiding from discomfort, and pretending that struggle doesn't exist. But pain doesn't care about your comfort. It comes to test you, to expose who you really are when life strips away all the masks and fake confidence. Pain reveals your character, and if you learn to listen to it, it will make you unstoppable. Andrew Tate says, "Pain is the universe's way of showing you your limits and giving you the chance to destroy them." Every punch life throws at you has a lesson hidden inside. Every heartbreak, every failure, every rejection is a message you are being forged into something stronger. The weak run from this process. The strong endure it. They understand that pain isn't punishment, it's preparation. When you go through pain, you are being trained for greatness. Think about every time you've truly grown in life. It wasn't when things were easy. It was when everything was falling apart. You became smarter after being betrayed. You became tougher after losing. You became disciplined after suffering. Pain builds perspective. It forces you to evolve, to shed weakness, to rise again with a sharper mindset. It's not supposed to feel good. It's supposed to make you good. Most people want strength without suffering. They want success without sacrifice. But that's not how life works. Diamonds are born under pressure. Warriors are forged in battle. You cannot become powerful by avoiding the things that hurt. Pain is the price of transformation. Every time you push through pain instead of avoiding it, you prove to yourself that you are stronger than your excuses. You build a mental armor that no failure can pierce. Weak men crumble when they feel pain. They complain, they blame, they quit. Strong men use it as fuel. They channel every ounce of frustration, anger, and disappointment into something productive. They use pain as motivation to train harder, work longer, think deeper. Every setback becomes a setup for a comeback. That's how greatness is built, one painful lesson at a time. Pain also exposes truth. It shows you who's real, who's fake, and what truly matters. When you're suffering, you start to see life clearly. You realize most people are just pretending to be tough until pain arrives. That's when the cowards disappear and the warriors are revealed. Pain doesn't lie. It shows you who deserves to stand beside you. The secret is to stop fearing pain and start respecting it. When you understand that pain is not here to break you, but to build you, you stop resisting and start learning. You begin to see every challenge as an opportunity to level up. You stop crying over losses and start studying them. That's how powerful men think. They don't ask, "Why me?" They ask, "What can I learn from this?" Pain is the ultimate teacher because it doesn't care about your feelings, only your growth. It teaches discipline when motivation fails. It teaches patience when life delays your rewards. It teaches humility when ego gets in the way. And it teaches power when you realize that nothing can hurt you anymore. When you accept pain as part of the process, you become dangerous. You no longer need comfort, validation, or approval. You just need the next challenge. Because you understand that the harder the struggle, the greater the reward. Pain is the only truth that never lies. It's proof that you're still alive, still fighting, still growing. So stop running from pain, embrace it, study it, let it mold you into something unbreakable. Every scar tells a story of survival. Every wound reminds you that you didn't quit. Pain doesn't define you. It refines you. The man who learns from pain doesn't just survive, he dominates. And once you've mastered your pain, there's nothing left in this world that can stop you. The world doesn't care about your excuses. It doesn't care about your struggles, your emotions, or your story. The world only cares about one thing: results. You can cry, complain, and explain all you want, but at the end of the day, only the scoreboard matters. Winners produce, losers justify. Success is brutal like that. It doesn't hand out trophies for effort. It crowns the men who get things done, no matter what it takes. Andrew Tate says, "The world is cold." It rewards competence, not compassion. And that's exactly why most people fail. because they're too busy explaining why they couldn't instead of showing that they did. Excuses are the comfort of the weak. They sound good, they feel good, but they don't change reality. You can't deposit excuses into a bank. You can't build a legacy on reasons. The world remembers achievers, not talkers. Every man wants to be respected, but respect doesn't come from words. It comes from performance. When you deliver results, you don't need to speak. The world notices. Power listens. People follow. That's how dominance is built. Not by emotion, not by excuses, but by execution. The moment you stop making excuses, you step into the mindset of a conqueror. You stop waiting for things to happen, and you start making them happen. Excuses are easy because they protect your ego. They make you feel better about your failures. It wasn't my fault. I didn't have time. Things were against me. Those are lies your mind tells you to stay comfortable. But every time you give in, you reinforce weakness. Every excuse is a brick in the wall that keeps you trapped where you are. The strong destroy those walls. They don't ask for perfect conditions. They adapt, adjust, and attack until they win. The truth is, no one cares how hard your life is. Everyone's fighting their own battles. The world is full of pain, chaos, and competition. The man who wins is the one who takes responsibility anyway. He looks at his circumstances and says, "It's on me." That mindset separates the powerful from the average, because when you take full ownership, you also take full control. You stop being a victim and start being a leader. Think about it. When you see the top 1% of men, do you think they got there by luck? No. They got there by grinding while others were sleeping, by staying focused while others were distracted, by producing results when others were making excuses. Success doesn't listen to feelings. It listens to consistency. Every win you earn is a reflection of your work ethic. Every loss you take is a reflection of your choices. Weak men waste energy defending failure. Strong men use that energy to fix it. They don't complain about how life is unfair. They outwork everyone until life has no choice but to bow to them. Excuses are a luxury you cannot afford if you want to be great. The world rewards men who bring value, men who solve problems, who deliver outcomes, who make things happen regardless of obstacles. Every excuse you make steals a piece of your potential. Every time you choose laziness over discipline, you prove to the world that you don't deserve what you say you want. The man who gets results doesn't have time for excuses. He's too busy becoming undeniable. He knows that discipline will always beat emotion. He knows that success doesn't care how he feels. It only cares if he finished the mission. So stop explaining yourself. Stop seeking sympathy. Stop waiting for permission. The world owes you nothing, but it will pay you everything if you bring results. Let your success be your voice. Let your achievements silence the noise. Because in this life, only one rule matters: execute or be forgotten. The world will not remember the man who almost made it. It will remember the one who did. Results are the only truth. Excuses fade. Achievements echo forever. Choose to be the man who delivers. At the end of the day, results speak louder than your emotions. You either control your feelings or your feelings control your future. Success doesn't care how you feel. It only cares if you finish the mission. Stop chasing comfort. Start chasing greatness. Because in this world, you're either remembered for results or forgotten with excuses. So get up, lock in, and prove that your actions are louder than your emotions.